Test.
Sorry. Look here, how you doing? All right. What's your name? Are you just no. You got some of the cameras. Y'all touch from my top. You turn what? It's shit, but come on, this shit is not this side. Two. One, two. All right. Two.
Good. Good.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing. Testing.
I hear you.
Okay.
So I switched to production mode.
Uh,
And when you put it in presentation mode,
what? What about it?
so when he was just talking earlier, why wasn't it?
Here, you can do a test. slide it like this and it turn green.
It's on.
Mute doesn't do anything. So what if you have to get it to hit off mute? We gotta give it to you.
No, we're gonna unmute it when he comes.
Don't unmute it. Yeah, mute it.
Yeah.
My hand here.
Yes, it's here on the live stream.
It's in there. You can hear it.
If I unmuted it.
I'm also walking in so I can make sure I can hear the whole crowd before you do anything.
You want to put it on your side? Or what?
I'm gonna put this right. Okay.
It's good?
Okay. It's down to the Good. You can do this pretty. I go. I think. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Does all your sound come out of your monitors as well? Or you got the speakers on top? Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing,
That mic's not working.
testing, testing.
This mic not working.
You got it on, yeah? It's on. Testing, 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 testing.
Okay, it's on.
Okay.
All right, sir.
All right.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. I
Nice to
followed
meet
your
you.
story. God
Okay,
bless
thank you. Oh, really? What part?
you. My dad's family's from Talladega,
Uh-huh.
and my mom's family's from Choctaw County.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What part? I forgot what part you're from.
I'm from Birmingham.
You from Birmingham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wherever you like. There you go, sir.
Honored to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Really?
Honored to have you. Want to sit up here? And
I'm just straight with you.
man, that's it.
You
Did it
called?
beautifully and did it quite well. Yes, ma'am.
Well, hopefully it'll go away about a couple more days. Hopefully.
Introduction. I'll introduce you.
Share a few words with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have no idea. I would imagine singing more than anything.
Turn your mic off. You're live. Both of them.
You don't want that.
I don't want y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all
you
be y'all say, ooh, she showed. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Because
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
I need this one.
At Cedar Grove High School, our mission is to empower students to excel academically and develop into confident, capable leaders in a global society. Through exceptional teaching, innovative programs, and strong community partnerships, we are dedicated to nurturing each student's potential, guiding them to become proactive, responsible citizens committed to making a positive impact in their community. At Cedar Grove High School, we are committed to ensuring that all students receive a high-quality, world-class education. We believe that every student can and will learn at the proficient level, supported by a nurturing and rigorous learning environment, and will maintain the instructional integrity of the DeKalb County School District.
Today, we are gathered to recognize Black History Month. And this year is especially significant as it marks the 100th anniversary of its founding. Black History Month began in 1926 as Negro History Week, created by historian Carter G. Woodson to ensure that Black achievements were not ignored or erased from history. Over the past century, Black History Month has provided opportunities to learn about leaders, innovators, artists, and everyday individuals who have shaped our nation and the world for the better. From historic figures like Harriet Tubman and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., to innovators like Garrett Morgan and Frederick McKinley Jones, and cultural trailblazers such as Shirley Chisholm and Jackie Robinson, Black history is filled with powerful contributions. While it includes moments of struggle, it also reflects resilience, creativity, culture, and lasting influence that continue to shape our society today. Black history is not simply another lesson taught in classrooms. It is an ongoing story that remains relevant and is still being written by people who look like me. It can be seen in schools, communities, sports, science, and movements for cultural changes. As we celebrate a full century of achievement, let us take the time to learn, reflect, and appreciate the impact of Black history, not only during this month, but throughout the entire year. Thank you.
Thank you to our speakers. Now we will greet Dr. Norman Sauce III.
Good morning, everybody. It is great to see y'all. My name is Norman Sauce, very proudly serving DeKalb County School District as interim superintendent. And today is an extraordinary day. Today is a beautiful day. Today is a great day to be a Cedar Grove Saint, that's for sure. We have these extraordinary leaders here representing and sharing aspects of their stories. I am very, very proud to be here today. and to stand with these local leaders of Black history, Black leadership, Black empowerment, to share their message, but particularly to hear Mr. Hinton's message of resilience and perseverance and love. You are in for a treat today, Saints, so pay attention, soak it all in, and I want to, of course, thank each and every one of our guests and our speakers here today. So give them some love for taking time out of their days to be here and share with you and pour into you. It is so important, young people, to pay it forward and to pour into others. And we're so grateful that these leaders here on the stage today are prepared to do that for you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for locking in and paying attention and taking in what they have to share, because it's going to certainly bring you to a better place as well. So thank you, Saints, and thank you again to our guests for being here. Appreciate you letting me share a few words.
Now we will have our DeKalb County CEO, Lorraine Cochran Johnson.
Good morning, Cedar Grove. Let me say that today is exceptionally meaningful because this marks 100 years of celebrating the accomplishments formally of African Americans and their contributions to America. And I want to say to everyone that the celebration of Black history in no way diminishes any other history or the contributions of other Americans to our great society. Today, we are kicking off Black History Month. And let me say, I'm told that I'm to bring you greetings on behalf of DeKalb County. So to everyone here and everyone who may be watching, I want to say that I'm grateful to be your Chief Executive Officer, the first African-American female to serve in this capacity. But I also want to say that I will not be the last. This assembly is extremely important because this morning I came to warn you that he who knows not his history is destined to repeat it. The gentleman that you have here today, Mr. Hinton, is a remarkable American, a man who endured 30 years of incarceration unjustly. Many folk in this room couldn't endure 30 days of adversity because my plight has taught me that God can't trust everyone with trouble. The only thing that separates those of you who sit here today from what Mr. Hinton endured is circumstance. An injustice to one man is an injustice to all. Dr. King got that right. And it's very unfortunate that across America, from the White House to Minneapolis, Minnesota, we see divisiveness and injustice marching through our streets. So this morning, as a mother, as your neighbor, as a community member, it is very important that you listen to this testimony. And for those of you, whatever crossroads you may come to, never forget that there can be no testimony without a test. What Mr. Hinton has endured is absolutely remarkable. And in the face of adversity, still stands and carries himself with such dignity. So I urge everyone in this room, you're young people, but you're not excused. You have an obligation to your community. You have an obligation to your parents, and you have an obligation to society and people who have given the ultimate sacrifice so that you have the ability to sit here today. So I expect each and every one of you to celebrate Black History 365. Make sure you don't forget that you're a part of it, because our future is truly depending on you. At my age and at this point in life, our greatest resource are the young people. We're depending on you. So on behalf of DeKalb County and our more than 780,000 residents, our 12 cities, the beloved community, those who are sitting here on this front row and second that I often call the willing workers of DeKalb County, our principal, as well as the principal of our school, I bring you greetings, and let me say, you can never give up. Thank you so much.
Now we will have our judge, Yolanda Mack.
Good morning, Cedar Grove High School. I am Judge Yolanda Mack from the DeKalb County State Court. But just so you all know, I grew up right here in DeKalb County. I went to Avondale Elementary School and I graduated from Avondale High School. Oh, come on now. And I always look forward to coming to the other schools in DeKalb since my school has closed. Commissioner Bolton also attended Avondale High School and also your interim principal, Kim. So good morning, everyone. But prior to ascending to the bench, I'm so honored today to be asked to speak to you because prior to ascending to the bench, I spent my career as a public defender and a prosecutor. I spent my career as a public defender and a prosecutor, so I represented people who look just like you and I, who were charged with crimes, only felonies, armed robberies, murder, sex crimes. And then I spent the latter half of my career prosecuting homicides, high-profile cases, and sexual assault cases. So I look forward today to speaking with the youth. Anytime I get an opportunity, I always want to say, representation matters. And so a lot of times when I say I was a prosecutor, I'm like, I always tell my jurors, your job as jurors is to honestly seek the truth. Honestly seek the truth. And I do that every day as a judge. And so as I stand here today in front of you, I look forward to you guys hearing from your speaker today. And one thing I will tell you as young people, I know I didn't appreciate it, and I have a son who is at Arabia, and he always tells me, Mom, we don't care, every time I say what I'm gonna tell the youth. But I will tell you today is that trouble is easy to get into, but so hard to get out of. And a lot of times you can have people who are fair and who are working, but sometimes as easy as you got into it, it takes sometimes years and weeks to unravel those things. So I will tell you today, please keep an open mind, listen to your speaker and all of the people that come before you. I am Judge Yolanda Mack. Thank you so much for having me today. I do have court, so I have to leave. Thank you so much.
Now they'll show a special presentation from Congressman Hank Johnson.
I'm especially disappointed to miss out on hearing from your featured speaker, Mr. Anthony Ray Hinton. Mr. Hinton's experience living on death row for 30 years for a crime he did not commit speaks not only to the injustice and corruption of our justice system, but also his tenacity and fortitude to survive something that no one should have to endure and that not many could have survived. I hope that you all enjoyed today's program, and I'm confident that you will benefit greatly from the wisdom that Mr. Hinton will share with you all. Thank you.
How y'all doing? We got a slight technical difficulty, but we're gonna fix it. We want y'all to hear from Congressman Hank Johnson. Is that all right? Y'all good? You
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm time to take members of the board district, and I'm sorry that I could not be here with you today.
Hello, everybody. I'm Congressman Hank.
This excellent program. I'm especially disappointed in this out of hearing from your featured speaker, Mr. Anthony Ray. Mr. Hinton's experience living on that road for 30 years for a crime he did not commit speaks not only to the injustice and corruption of our justice system, but also his tenacity and ability to survive something that no one should have to endure and not many could have survived. I hope that you all enjoy today's program, and I'm confident that you will benefit greatly from the wisdom that Mr. Hinton will share with you all. Thank you.
check.
Now we will have, sorry about that, y'all. Now we will have Eric Hubbard, our district outreach coordinator from Georgia 4th Congressional District.
Good morning, Saints. Good morning. You know, if I was in church, I would have all the saints say, what? Amen. Right. And today we're going to hear from a great man, Mr. Hinton, who has both the perseverance and injustice. But I believe that God had his hand on him to get them here today. And it's not a coincidence that the saints of Cedar Grove is in the audience. You're here on purpose. You're here to get something that you can use in your life. Because as you go through life, you want to grow in life. No matter what happened yesterday, today is the present. That's why it's the present. And what we have to do is to take those that we meet, put them inside us in our spirit and our mind so we can develop and be who we need to be. You have history on this stage, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to say, we have the first female African-American CEO of the Cobb County. She's the executive of the county and handles the business. But we also have the first African-American female sheriff of the Cobb County. We make sure that it's safe. And yes, we are here to hear a word from Mr. Hinton. Because in the circle of life, we all have to live together, work together, learn from each other, and support each other. And what we have to do is play our role. Now, I can't tell you how to drop a transmission in an 18 blue. I can't do a root canal in your mouth because I'm not a dentist. But what I can do is to share and make you better and myself better. Now, to Mr. Toggle and Cedar Grove and Mr. Kemp and everyone who put this program together today, thank you. Because this is needed. We are history in the making. I'm Eric Hubbard, I'm the district outreach director for Congressman Hank Johnson. The congressman couldn't be here today because he's in Washington, D.C., working for you. You have to pass a budget in order to keep the government open. He has to advocate in order to make sure that your rights are protected. To whom one is given the highest authority, you cannot dismiss anyone, majority or minority. Our country is going through things right now, ladies and gentlemen. We live through a pandemic. You remember that? We have to come together. And now we're going through things in life in which your rights and laws have to stand fast. We have to make sure that you're protected, that there is no injustice. Because as Dr. King once said, injustice anywhere. He said, correct, injustice everywhere. And Mr. Hinton is going to speak today about the injustice he had to go through to be here. But thank God he's here to share with us so we can learn from his experience, so we can be motivated by his life, and we can be inspired to go out and make a difference. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having us here today. And on behalf of Hank Johnson, keep up the good work, keep up the fight, and don't just go through life, but grow through life. No matter where we've been, the road is going to be higher and rise. Thank you.
Now we have Attorney William Bill Thomas.
Good morning, Cedar Grove.
Good morning.
I certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today and to share just a few thoughts. I'm pleased to be invited to speak to you, pleased to share the stage with such esteemed dignitaries. I was actually sitting here listening to you. I wonder how I made it live, but I'm certainly here. Pleased to be here. I'm asking you to speak there for a few minutes and talk to you about they said I was supposed to be inspiring and uplifting. So with those instructions in mind, since we're here in school environment today, I thought I would talk to you about something we all understand. Test. A test is something that is designed to evaluate your knowledge, skill, ability, performance, or reliability. Now, what usually happens when you take a test is that you study hard, you put the books up, answer a series of questions about what you retain. That's most tests and how most tests are done. The test I want to talk to you about today, just for a few minutes, is a little different. It's the test of life. What makes the test of life different is that the test of life is an open book test. The test of life can sometimes be hard. You will hear today from a speaker who I think the test of life has been hard. It can pose difficult questions that you will have to find the answers to. But what makes the test of life different is that it's an open book test. And when you get that hard question, you can and should ask for help along the way. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, and most importantly in the test of life, it is not cheating. You can look at someone else's paper, you can ask your friend, you can ask your coach, your parents, your teachers, or mentors. You can ask anyone who might have the answer to those questions. when life hits you with those tough and difficult questions. Ask for help, ask for the answers, look on someone else's paper. Asking for guidance, asking for the answers isn't cheating, it's a strategy. Today, as we sit here and move through the test of life, I need for each of you to realize that you are the next generation's leaders. Not someday, not eventually, but right now. Leadership doesn't begin when someone hands you a title or gives you a corner office. It begins when you take responsibility for your future, your community, and your impact on the world. Some of you may feel you're ready for that. Some of you may feel like you're still figuring things out, and that's okay. Because it doesn't matter where or how you start, what matters is how you finish. Oprah Winfrey, somebody we all knew, grew up in poverty, facing challenges that would stop most people in their tracks. She didn't start with wealth, connections, or privilege, but she finished strong. Not because her beginning was easy, but because she refused to let her beginning define her ending. And she got help on her test. That's the part I want to say to you, for you to hear clearly today, that your starting point is not your destiny. Your circumstances, whatever they may be, do not limit your possibilities and your tomorrow. When I was sitting where you were sitting, I wasn't the best student, I wasn't the best athlete. The truth is, I was far from it. There were days when the teachers didn't want to see me coming. And somewhere along the way, I got help with that part of the test. I went from bad student, mediocre athlete, to cop, to attorney, to prosecutor, to heading up the U.S. Attorney's Office narcotics section. I was able to get help on my test. So wherever you are today, you can get the right answer to your part of the test. Now I won't pretend that the test of life and the test that you face is simple. The world you are facing in today and stepping into presents incredible challenges. Climate change, rapid technological shifts, global conflicts, economic uncertainty, social divisions, and one of the speakers has already mentioned, political uncertainty. You're growing up in a time when information moves faster than ever, when expectations are high, and when the future can feel unpredictable. I could spend all day talking about the challenges, but that's another topic and another speech for another day. But here's the important part. There's the other side of the truth and the other side to those challenges. Today's world for you all presents incredible opportunities. You have access to knowledge and information that previous generations couldn't even imagine. You can learn almost anything or begin to learn from a device in your pocket. You can build a business from your bedroom. You can connect with people across the world. You can create, innovate in ways that used to be impossible. In my day, we had something called the encyclopedia. You spend hours and hours. I hear some laughing, right? You guys have encyclopedias too. If you don't know what encyclopedia is, you need to pull that phone out and do it. That's what you have. Your life is different and will continue to be different. So as you move forward and you move into college, into careers, into adulthood, remember these things. Life is an open book test. Use those resources, ask for help, learn from others. Second, you are the next leaders, not someday, but today. Third, your beginning does not determine your ending. You get to write the rest of the story. Lastly, the world is full of challenges for you, but also full of opportunities. And it is waiting for someone exactly like you to step up and seize them. If you leave here today with only one message, let it be this. You are capable of much more than you know. and the world needs what only you can work. Thank you. I expect great things from each and every one of you.
Now we have Dr. Lavina Bolton, known affectionately in the community as Dr. B, a scientist, wife, mother of three, and passionate advocate for healthy, safe, and thriving neighborhoods. She is a proud graduate of Avondale High School in the DeKalb County School District and credits her December 2024 election and the consistent service and strong relationships she cultivated with the community, one that continues to show its support for her leadership. In her first year as Super District Senate Commissioner, Dr. B and her team embraced the symbol of the bee pollinator, representing their mission to provide resources, curate environments, and offer opportunities that grow business and empower families. One of her most impactful partnerships efforts were March into a Cleaner Tomorrow, a countywide cleanup movement that mobilized more than 1,000 volunteers in just 3 months. Together, they collected over 1,000 bags of litter, equivalent to roughly 5 tons of trash, restoring pride and cleanliness to neighborhoods across the area. Among her team's proudest achievements is the creation of the first ever youth aviation program, a year-long initiative that introduces underserved students to aviation careers. Participants train alongside seasoned pilots, take courses at PDK Airport, and receive sponsorship funding to earn their pilot's license, opening doors to careers many had never imagined possible. She had long served the community of DeKalb prior to being a commissioner, operating in leadership roles including vice president, chair of political and civic organizations as a poll manager, recruiting more than 50 fair election campaigns as a co-founder of Vote and Legacy, a scholarship and advocacy initiative supporting students and strengthening underserved communities. Receiving her PhD in chemistry from Clark Atlanta University, and her BS from Savannah State University. She also earned membership as an illustrious Lady of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Her career as an analytic forensic chemist has advanced national security, energy sustainability, and health equity across the country and around the world. Commissioner Dr. Lavina Bolton leads with empathy, excellence, and a deep respect for the voices of the DeKalb County. Her vision is clear: to build legacies from the inside out, where every family, every business, and every resident can flourish.
Dr. Boat, just before you start, will you young people turn your phones and your iPads off? This is a wonderful presentation that's for you, and you need to be encouraged, and you need to listen to what life is about. Please, Dr. Boat.
Good morning, Cedar.
Good morning.
Again, I am Lavina Bolton, affectionately known as Dr. B in the community, and as was mentioned, I am our Super District Senate Commissioner. And I do just want to say I'm extremely honored to share the stage with all these dignitaries, and especially our guest speaker today, Mr. Henry, who has an amazing story. All of us have a story, but his, of course, is much more intense than many of us could ever have imagined for our own lives. But on this first day of Black History Month, I do want to say, since we're making announcements, this is the first time in DeKalb County's history that the top 3 seats, 1, 2, and 3, are held by Black women in DeKalb. And just so you know who those people are, we heard from our CEO, who is number 1. Our presiding officer of the Board of Commissioners is Commissioner Shakira Johnson, who is not here with us today. But also myself, number 3, I'm the deputy presiding officer of the Board of Commissioners. So now that y'all know I graduated from Abbey High School, I am a product of the DeKalb County campus. I do want to make sure that I take a moment to connect with you guys, not just to inspire you, but to show you that you can see yourselves in me. What I am, you can be that and more. But the message I want to give you, and I'm not going to be very long at all, is just be the best version of yourself in every season of your life, no matter what that looks like. And I say that because starting out, when I went to Abbeville High School, I was a pretty good student, made good grades, went to Cedar State University on scholarship. But I'll tell you the problem with being a good student. Actually, it's a catch-22. People always expect you to do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, which is great because they believe in you. But the con is that they expect you to do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons all the time. And so they don't leave room for you to make mistakes and learn from them. At Cedar State University, I didn't do as well as I did in high school. In fact, I lost my scholarship after my first year. Yeah, I know, my mom was hurt about that. I lost my scholarship after my first year. My last year at Cedar State University, I had a baby 3 months before graduation. And that was difficult because in your senior year, that's when you're supposed to take opportunities to determine what's next for you, whether that's an internship, an apprenticeship, job opportunities. But when you're pregnant and a senior in high school, ain't nobody looking at you for anything. So I limited myself unexpectedly because of that. And everybody around me would show a lot of disappointment. Actually, somebody very close to me told me that I ruined my life. Very close to me told me I ruined my life as a senior in college. And so my then boyfriend, at the time, my boyfriend and I, we got married about a year later. We figured if we got married, maybe that'd help. Because they say, once you wed a man that finds the right, finds the good thing, maybe that good thing can turn into opportunities for our family. But y'all, after we got married, we left Savannah State, or we left Savannah. We moved back up here to DeKalb, and in 30 days, my husband and I got arrested by the DeKalb County Police Department. We didn't have anywhere to stay, so we were living in a back room in my dad's apartment, sleeping on the floor on a mattress, and we didn't have any jobs. Neither one of us had a job. But even through all of that, you have to be the best version of yourself no matter what season of life that you're in. Because from that, what I can say, but look at God. Because I do have that voice of God. And I got bailed out. And you have a PhD. Right. But with that, through all of that, I want to share the importance of mentorship. Because even when you don't see your best in order to be the best version of yourself, there is always somebody else who will see more than you can see in yourself. And this person wasn't a formal mentor. We didn't sign a document to say there was no mentor. But it was a professor from Savannah State University that I would just keep in touch with. Just let him know what was going on with me. And if I didn't reach out to him, he would reach out to me. Because quite honestly, y'all, he didn't like my husband. He didn't want me to be with him. So he would check up on me pretty often. And one thing he said to me was, he said, I know things aren't going too well for you, but just enroll at California University and go to grad school. I said, I don't have any money in grad school. He said, well, the good thing about, what I didn't say before is I got a BS in chemistry at Cedar State University. And he said, well, if you go to grad school in the sciences, you don't have to pay to go to school. And when I went online, I saw, well, if I get my PhD, not only will they pay me to go to school, not only will they pay for my schooling, they were also paying me to go to school. So I felt like, that was a come up, that was a hustle, that was an opportunity to open doors for myself, but also to relieve some of the pressure of not having a job or having to go to school and work a job, which is very difficult. And this was the beginning of the next season of my life.
Yes.
I didn't know it at the time, but you know, as you get older, if you look at it, you can identify point A, point B, and all those opportunities and terms that changed your life. And we hear it all the time about how great mentors are. We hear all the time about how much education is, or how important education is, but whether it's formal or informal, whether it's technical or collegiate, you went to the university, educating yourself will always open doors. It'll open your eyes and the eyes of others who are watching you, and sometimes it'll open their wallets too to invest in whatever it is that you're attempting to do. But you have to be consistent, because you're gonna have ups and downs. There's gonna be times where you're just surviving, there'll be times where you're thriving. But in all of that, you have to continue to be the best version of yourself, no matter what season of life that you're in. From that, I got other opportunities, great opportunities unexpectedly. For example, I got an opportunity working with the Army as a forensic chemist, where I analyzed drugs and explosives. Never thought in a million years that would be something I would do. Worked at the Coca-Cola company, the global program manager for their nuclear program. Never thought I would be able to do that. But in everything that I did, I knew I wanted better for myself. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but it didn't matter. I was going to keep doing, trying, asking questions, observing, and emulating until I got where I wanted to be. And I didn't realize that I wanted to be here. This is a full circle moment for me, because I have the influence and the power to change people's lives in the same community that changed my life, and that is so rewarding. Which is why I'm so proud to be here with you guys today. Even though it ain't happened there, it's still in so that's good. But I do want to leave you with this before I sit down. I want you to hear me and hear me good. While I'll never encourage any of our students not to respect authority, and I'll never encourage any of our students to walk out on your education, and I absolutely would not encourage you to put yourself in harm's way. What I will do is support you when you make an informed decision to support your family and friends, to support our country, to support our democracy. It's my responsibility as an adult to support you. And as much as I am afraid for you, I am just as proud of all I've seen you guys do over the past couple of weeks. You've survived hurricanes. You've survived a recession. You've survived a global pandemic, something folks my age are now just experiencing at this big age of 41. You're doing it as teenagers. You've survived so many things, young people, and you will survive this. So in all of that, continue to be the best version of yourself and continue to fight for what you believe is right. I am Medina Moulton, your Super District 7 Commissioner. Thank you.
Now we will introduce the first Black DeKalb County Sheriff, Melody Maddox.
So I can see this time. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As she said, I am the DeKalb County Sheriff, Melody Maddox. I've been in office now for almost 7 years. It's an honor and privilege to be able to stand before you all, to all the speakers on this panel. I'm excited to be able to share this stage with you all. To Dr. Douglas, the principal, I spoke to him and he said he was expecting great things from you all, so just a little bit. To Mr. Jenkins, the assistant principal, Ms. Carson, faculty, staff, and the great student spirit. Cedar Grove High School, home of the Saints. I want you to know, I don't take this lightly, but before I move forward, do me a favor. The person that's sitting next to you that's leaning over that's sleeping, touch them, wake them up. Wake them up. Because we have something to say. I need you to listen. And I need you to understand. I want you all to understand what this is. I ran for sheriff not because I have to, because I want to, because I care about my community, because I care about my people, because I am the mother to a 50-year-old African American man. I have a 10-year-old African American, black, everyone else, grandson as well. So I understand, and I see, and I can't do this without you all. But I want you all to listen to this man's story when he come up and understand how I come into play as it relates to this story. So listen, don't take it lightly, because it's not a joke. It's not a joke when you come to that building that sits on 900,000 square, 12.2 acres of land, 900,000 square. A 3,800, if I push it, I can put 4,000 individuals in that facility. We're not there. We're not going to be there as long as I'm here. Right now, we have approximately 2,300 inmates that are incarcerated in the Gap County Sheriff's Office. 1,658 are African American men. You do the math. 269 black women, as opposed to the 55 white women, 313 white men. Black man says he's at heart 29 years old. I read the jury said, no, we're just gonna do a life sentence. The judge said, no. Am I correct, Mr. Hinton? No. We want to execute you. That was a judge. You need to vote. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, it does. Your vote matters to me as the sheriff.
Do it and go back.
I see it every day. See it. Know who you are, believe in yourself, and accept no validation of no one else. You validate yourself. I wake up every morning and I validate who I am. Yes, because society is trying to always validate who you are. Mr. Henson, if you don't mind, can I have you come up just for 1 second, please?
It's not supposed to be on LG, it's going to be on this.
And fairness for all in this order. We work toward a justice system worthy of public trust. Signed, DeKalb County Sheriff Melody Maddox. The eagle, as we all know, the eagle fly high, wingspan symbol of freedom, endurance. Mr. Henry, you are our Black history. You suffered 30 years so that we wouldn't have to, and we don't take it lightly. So continue to soar high. Thank you. Over here? Okay, the proclamation too. Okay, can I get the Commissioner and the CEO to come up? Yeah, no. Let the doctor talk. Yeah, bring them. Okay, there we go. Okay, look at me. 3. Right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you.
One more. 1, 2, 3.
Cedar Grove, y'all still with us? There's some VIPs on the stage, Cedar Grove. VIPs. So I want to make a few announcements. I love Cedar Grove, and I'm telling y'all right now, I got a disclaimer. If anybody in here is related to anybody at Sandy Creek High School, please exit the building right now. Y'all were watching Cedar Grove on the championship, what, 2 years ago? Yeah. Was it in basketball? Should have been in Sandy Creek. So anybody affiliated with Sandy Creek, please exit the stage left. All right. I am so honored to be here. We're going to bring Mr. Hinton up. But I have my 2 children here. To my left is my son, Jared Culver, who is an 8th grader at Champion Middle School. I'm going to have him say a few things. And my daughter, Gabrielle Culver, is a graduate of Cedar Grove High School and is a rising senior at Albany State University. We're going to make some adjustments on this program due to time constraints. But I just want to say a few things before we bring Mr. Hinton up. We're going to watch a brief video of the field. We're going to see a clip of ABC News in 60 minutes, and we were going to show you all the last scene from Just Mercy. Did you all know who Michael B. Jordan is? Yes. The time we won't be able to show that, but in that movie, again, Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan, O'Shea Jackson. He plays Mr. Hinton in the final scene. So if you all get a chance to see the ending of that movie, O'Shea is playing Mr. Hinton. That being said, I'm going to let my son say a few things about Mr. Hinton. Let Gabby grab the microphone. We're going to watch a video, and we're going to bring Mr. Hinton up. This program is about never giving up, never quitting. And you heard from our speakers, but I want to acknowledge Lester Bailey. Lester sing. Let's just see about Mr. Hinton for 30 years. So I want you to calculate that. That's a long time, and that's a great thing. So thank you, Lester. And thank you, Mr. Hinton. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to my 2 kids, but I wouldn't be able to pull this program off without having friends. The friends on stage, and I want to also recognize former interim superintendent, Dr. Hussein Tinsley, who has worked with me to put this program together. Done a lot of work behind it. So very well, we're gonna get you out of here. We're gonna watch the video. Again, I'm gonna have my two children so proud to be here with me today. I want you all to really look at this video before Mr. Hinton comes up. And you heard Sheriff Melody Mack, but I'm gonna tell you all a story. If you're in a car and your friend gets out of that car and shoots somebody and gets sentenced to 30 years, and you're just a passenger in that car, are you gonna get sentenced? You're gonna get 30 years too. So listen to the lessons that have been spoken of here. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize some of our sponsors. I'll bring them up on the stage a little bit later, but I have the National Council of Negro Women in attendance, the CAB section, where you be recognized. Omega Sapphire Fraternity, Theta Omega Chapter. We have executive management and Ford Motor Credit. Are you in the audience? And again, I want to recognize my brother Claude Tolbert, who has also helped me. Tri-Cities graduate, went on to graduate from Harvard, got his MBA from Stanford. So we're going to show you this video, but before we do that, I'm going to let my son Jared say a few words. My daughter Gabrielle will show this video. I want you to look at it. We're going to shorten it to just the ABC portion of it. And we're going to bring Mr. Hinton up, let him speak. Then we're going to present him with a gift, and we're going to get y'all out of here because I know y'all hungry. So, without any further ado, Jared.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jared Silver, a student at Champion Indian School. As I always look forward to this exploration, this story moment motivated me to construct outbreak in grounded and focused on the dream. I often reflect on the encouraging story when we need to challenge it and remember that if you never give up and never quit, all motivation and inspiring, all things are possible. It's heartwarming, motivation and inspiring. I hope that you enjoy the work today.
My name is Rebecca. My primary said I graduated from here in 2022. I'm now a graduate senior at Alcorn State University. And during our conversations, she always encouraged me to stay positive, excel in school, and never give up on my dreams. At the time, I did not really understand the magnitude of the story or the impact of this journey, but over the years, we stayed in touch, and as I've grown, I've come to better understand the lessons she shared with me. Today, she's here to share her words with me.
We're going to cut this video in 3 minutes, but I really want to share this with you all. So if we can have video, and then we'll bring Mr. Hinton up, give you all some words, some deep encouragement, and we'll get you all out of here because I know y'all want to do lunch. Video ITT, let's do it.
The rain on his face for the first time in nearly 30 years. You'll also see him learn how to use Instagram and the ATM. Why? Because he was just released.
Experiencing things for the first time in decades.
You ever, when you was a kid and your daddy catch you ride, and you want to see everything, you just be looking, and make me really appreciate freedom more. Would you believe this is the first time I've been in the rain in 30 years?
How do you like it?
It feels wonderful. Yes, it feels wonderful. Hey.
We joined him as he began his rebirth of sorts.
So what's it like now to be able to walk, where you want to walk, when you want to walk?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, I really have to catch myself.
Oh my goodness.
He is welcomed home, a party in his honor, hosted by the Equal Justice Initiative, led by attorney Brian Stevenson and his team of attorneys who fought for decades to win Hinton's freedom.
Thank you for giving me my life back. Just being here as a team, you can say that you got an innocent man off death row.
His nightmare began in 1985. Ronald Reagan was president, Back to the Future was a box office hit, and Under the Cover of Darkness, two Birmingham restaurant managers were shot dead at closing time, just months apart. A third victim, another man who survived the shooting and helped identify 29-year-old Anthony Ray Hinton as the killer.
You're a free man now. What does that mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, you never think about your freedom until it's taken away from you. You couldn't put a price tag on it.
Even simple pleasures, like the convenience of using a computer.
I heard about Facebook and Twitter.
We've been putting pictures of you on Instagram. There were over 3,000 people that liked this picture of you getting out.
Teaching him to use the ATM for the first time, even though he doesn't have much money.
And that's when you have to put in a little code.
He got my $12 back already.
So much about the world has changed, but the greatest still is a world without his mother. She died while he was locked away.
It can't get no lower for me. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. That's what's the love of my life. See. I didn't grow up with a father. So my mother was my father and my mother. And she did everything she could.
60 Minutes, Rewind.
About 10 times a month now, an innocent person is freed from an American prison. They're exonerated, sometimes after decades, because of new evidence, new confessions, or the forensic science of DNA. There is joy the day that justice arrives, but we wondered, what happens the day after? You're about to meet three people who have returned to life from unjust convictions. One of them, Ray Hinton, was on death row. He remembers too vividly the Alabama electric chair and the scent that permeated the cell block when a man was met by 2,000 volts. Hinton waited his turn for nearly 30 years until this past April. That's when Ray Hinton stepped out of the shadow of execution, taking the first steps that he chose for himself since 1985.
What was that moment like? As though I was walking on clouds.
Over with.
I wanted to get away in case they changed their mind, you know.
You still didn't believe it?
I was not going to allow myself to really. Let me first say that I am thankful to be here. Can you hear me? Two. Can you hear me now? Let me say that for 30 years, I went through pure hell. There is no other word that I can describe what I went through than hell. But as I was going through that hell, by the grace of God, He sustained me. Most of all, He kept me. I never will forget on one of the hottest days in July the 7th, 1985, my mother had made some lemonade and I was outside and I went in to get a glass of lemonade. And as I was pouring that glass of lemonade, my mother told me to go out and cut the grass. I goes out and I began to cut the grass and happened to look up. There stood two white gentlemen that I never seen before. I cut the lawnmower off and I said, "Can I help you?" And one of them replied, "We are detectives from the Birmingham Police Department." I said, okay, how can I help you? One of them replied, we have a warrant for your arrest. And I said, what are the charges? One said, we will explain that to you later, but right now, we want you to put your hands behind your back. I complied. I put my hands behind my back. They put the handcuff on me, proceeded to put me in the police car. And I said, hold up. At least allow me the opportunity to go in and tell my mother I'm being arrested for something. One of the detectives said, we can't let you go back inside. We argued for about a minute or two, and finally the other detective said, let him go in and tell his mother he's being arrested. I goes in and I show my mother the handcuff. And like any good mother, she began to scream and holler, what are those handcuffs doing on my baby? One of them said, take him outside while I stand here and talk to his mother. A few minutes later, he comes and we proceeded to go to the Birmingham County Jail. And on our way there, the detective that wasn't driving turned around and said, Anthony, do you own a firearm? I said, no. I said, but my mother has an old Smith & Wesson that she keeps around the house for snakes. Once I revealed that information to these detectives, they dropped me off at a substation, went back to my mother's home. She gave them the gun. They came back, they picked me up, and we proceeded to the Birmingham County Jail once again. I must have asked these detectives at least 50 times, why am I being arrested? Never would say anything. And I said it perhaps a little louder and a little angrier than I was. I said, detective, why am I being arrested? This seemed to set the detective off that wasn't driving. He looked at me, he said, you want to know why we arrested you? I said, yes. He said, we're going to charge you with first-degree robbery, first-degree kidnap, first-degree attempted murder. I said, oh, you got the wrong person. I haven't done any of that. He said, let me tell you something right now. I don't care whether you did it or didn't do it, but I'm going to make sure you're found guilty of it. I said, for a crime I didn't commit. He looked at me, he said, you must have a hearing problem. Didn't I just tell you I don't care whether you did it or didn't do it? He said, if you don't remember nothing else, remember, I am the one who's going to make sure you're found guilty. And as he drove just a little bit far, he turned around, he looked at me, he said, by the way, there's 5 things that are going to convict you. Would you like to know what they are? And I said, yes. He said, number 1, you're black. Number 2, a white man is going to say you shot him. Whether you shot him or not, believe me, I do not care. He said, number 3, you're going to have a white prosecutor. Number 4, you're going to have a white judge. And number 5, you're going to have an all-white jury. He said, do you know what that spells? And he repeated the word conviction, 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 conviction. And by that time, we arrived at the Birmingham County Jail. They placed me in a holding cell. About an hour and a half later, he comes and I jumps up and I said, detective, if you don't mind, will you tell me the date and the time this crime took place? He goes through his note and he tells me the date. I said, thank God. But when he said the time, I said, thank you, Jesus. I said that because I know for a fact that on that particular date and that particular time, I was on my job. But what I was so happy about, my supervisor was white. And I figured once he go out and talk to my white supervisor, he would come back and say we made a mistake. I gave him my supervisor's name, I gave him the address, I gave him the phone number. He left, and about 5 hours later, he comes again, open the cell door, and I jump up. He looks at me, he said, I have good news and bad news. The good news is we no longer going to charge you with first-degree robbery, first-degree kidnap, first-degree attempted murder. Your alibi checks out. He said, but now we have decided we're going to charge you with 2 counts of first-degree capital murder. I said, but I haven't killed anyone. I haven't robbed anyone. And as I was trying to tell this detective, there's no way I could take another human being's life. That detective looked at me and he put his hands up as to say, be quiet. He looked at me, he said, since you is being honest with me, let me be honest with you. He said, I truly believe you didn't commit the crime. But since y'all is always helping one another, since y'all is always taking up for one another, why don't you take this rap for one of your homeboys who truly committed the crime? And I looked at that detective and I tell him all the time, much as I love him, I wouldn't have took a rap for him like that. And I told that detective, I said, detective, there's not a homeboy in this world I would take a rap like that. That detective shut the door and he walked out. I goes before a judge. A judge said, Anthony Ray Hinton, you've been charged with 2 count first-degree capital murder. How do you plead? I said, not guilty, Your Honor. He said, do you have an attorney? I said, no, Your Honor. He said, can you afford an attorney? I said, no, Your Honor. He looks back in his courtroom and he called this lawyer up front. He tells him that he wants him to represent me on 2 counts of first-degree capital murder. Without even asking me my name, without even speaking, that lawyer said, I did not go to law school to do pro bono work. And I looked up at the lawyer and I said, sir, would it make a difference to you if I told you I was innocent? That lawyer looked at me, he said, the problem with that statement, all of y'all is always doing something. And the moment you get caught, you cry like you didn't do it. This is the lawyer that I had to somehow try and convince him that I was innocent. But more important, I needed to let him know my life was in his hand. I needed you to give me your best. Well, that lawyer did exactly enough to make sure that I was found guilty. I never will forget, the jury came back, they handed the bailiff a piece of paper. The bailiff handed it to the judge, and the judge had already said, all rise. And as I was standing there, he looked at me. He said, Anthony Ray Hinton, you have been found guilty by a jury of your peers. And it is the order of this court that I sentence you to death. And that judge had the audacity to say, may God have mercy on your soul. But just when I thought I had heard it all, the prosecutor, perhaps he said it a little louder than he intended to say it. But he could be heard over the courtroom saying, we didn't get the right nigger today, but at least we got a nigger off the street. And on December 17, 1986, I was transported to Holman Correction Facility where they housed death row inmates. I had made up my mind that I wasn't going to talk to no one. And when I got there, whatever they asked me, I wrote the response on a piece of paper. For 3 years, I didn't say a word to no one. Every time someone would ask me, I would write it out. And when my friends and my mother would come, I would just say, mm-hmm. But then going into the 4th year, I was angry. But I wasn't angry with nobody more than I was with God. You see, all of my life, my mother brought me up to believe in God. She told me that God sit high, but he looks low. He will destroy, but yet he will defend. I wanted to know what I had done so bad in life that God would allow me to be tried and convicted and sentenced to death. My mother told me, always be patient. Going into the 4th year, I woke up to the sound of a grown man crying. A man that I had never spoke to, never said good morning or nothing. But my mother had taught me compassion. She told me no matter what one does in life, they still deserve compassion. And that compassion made me get out of that bunk bed, walk up to the bars and say, sir, do you need me to get the officer back here? Took him a moment to reply, but finally he said no. He said, I just got word my mother passed. And my heart went out. And I said, if I can write a letter, if I can make a phone call, whatever I can do for you, please just ask. And then I did something next. I sit on that bed and I looked up in that ceiling and I said, Lord, if you're listening, I need you to allow me to escape this hell that I'm in. And all of my life, I've been fascinated with the Queen of England, not that kind of fascination. I've always admired the way that she took care of country and took her life just for the country. And I said, I wanted to go and visit the Queen of England. In my mind, I closed my eyes as tight as I could close my eyes. I visualized going to the palace. Once I got to the palace, I told the guard that I was there to see Queen Elizabeth. They goes and tell the Queen that I'm there. She invite me in. I introduce myself to who I am and where I'm from. We sit down, we talk about Prince Charles, Prince Harry, Prince William, and the tragedy of Lady Di. About 25 minutes into this conversation, the Queen stands up for whatever reason. She looks at me and she says, Mr. Hinton, would you like some tea? And I told her I would love some tea. Tea. I told her a spot of lemon. She goes and have the bullet to bring the lemon. I squeeze it. We conversate some more. About 30 minutes later, I stands up and I tell the Queen I must be leaving. She looks at me and she says, Mr. Hinton, will you come back? And I told the Queen I would love to come back. I tell you that story because when you inside a thing called a perfect wife. Halle Berry was the perfect wife. But she didn't say nothing but yes, dear, and okay, dear. Whatever you want to do, dear, is okay with me, dear. And then going into year 16, for good behavior, the one would allow us to see a movie. And the movie was called Speed. And for the first time, I laid eyes on Sandra Bullock. And as I watched this lady drive this bus around and around, I looked at my lovely wife, Halle. Actually, I was building my nerves up. And when I had built my nerves up, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to divorce you and I'm gonna marry Sandra Bullock. And true to her word, she looked at me and she said, okay, dear. By that time, a guard was calling me and said, Anthony, you have a lawyer visit. I said, but state of Alabama don't give you a lawyer during post-conviction. He said, well, Anthony, somebody's pretending to be a lawyer. Go out there and see who it is. I goes out there and there's this lawyer from Boston. He tells me that he is there to represent me. And I asked him who in Boston knows me enough that they would send him to Alabama to represent me. He tells me a man by the name of Brian Stevenson. I say, who is Brian Stevenson? And he tells me. But I wanted this man from Boston to realize something, that I was a human being. I wanted this lawyer not to be afraid to sit in this small room with me. So I told this lawyer, I said, had Mr. Brian Stevenson been this great attorney like you say he was, he would have checked with me before he sent you, because I am a beloved Yankee fan. And there's no way a Yankee fan and a Boston fan could ever do anything together. And I seen this lawyer smile, and I did that so that lawyer would realize that I was a human being. The blood runs in my vein was red as the blood running in his vein. And once I saw this lawyer smile, we began to talk about my case, and he told me what he was going to do and what he was going to try to do. In the year 4, if he came, he said, Anthony, I can get you a life without parole. I looked at this lawyer and I said, get who a life without parole? He said, you. I said, life without parole is for guilty people, not innocent people. I said, you actually mean to stand up and tell the world that I killed someone when I didn't? I said, but more important to me, you asking me to stand up and tell my mother I killed someone when I didn't. I said, all of my life, my mother brought me up to be truthful. I said, I would prefer to die than to stand up and tell that lie. I said, I want to share something with you that my mother shared with me at the age of 12. She called me in her living room and she said, if you man enough to bend down and pick up a rock, and if you man enough to throw that rock, then you should be man enough to say you throw that rock. I looked at that lawyer and I said, this is one rock I didn't throw. I said, so therefore, if the state of Alabama is hell bent on executing me, so be it. I said, all of us have to die at some point, at some time. I'm not ready to die, and I don't want to die for a crime that I didn't commit. I said, but if that be the case, so be it. I looked at this lawyer and go to jail for me if necessary. But the fact that you're trying to get me a life without parole tells me that you don't believe in me, and therefore I have no choice but to fire you. The lawyer said, are you serious? I said, yes. I said, but I want to thank you for coming from Boston. I want to thank you for doing what you've done. I said, but I just need a lawyer who believes in me. And as he was going out the front door, they were taking me back toward the cell. Something in my mind said, you got to be the dumbest person in the world. For you fired the only lawyer that you had. And just as that thought entered my mind, another thought said you did the right thing. Always stand up for what you believe in. And as I got closer to my cell, a guard was watching TV, and lo and behold, it was Brian Stevenson. I stopped and I said, can I listen to Mr. Stevenson for a moment? He said, yes. Mr. Stevenson was talking about the death penalty, why we don't need a death penalty in this country. And at that moment, I knew this is the lawyer that I needed to represent me. I wrote Mr. Stevenson a letter, and I told him I appreciate the lawyer from Boston, but it just didn't work out. I said, Mr. Stevenson, I need to ask you a favor, but before you say yes or no, all I ask is that you read my transcript. And if you find one thing in my transcript that points to my guilt, do not worry about signing anything in my transcript. I would like to ask you, would you become my lawyer? 3 months later, I got a letter saying he would read my transcript. 6 months later, I got another letter saying he was coming to see me. The day that he said he was coming, he came. The day that I shook this man's hand, I knew God had sent me his number one lawyer. And as we were sitting there talking about the case, I looked at Mr. Stevenson and I said, Mr. Stevenson, I need a favor from you. He said, what is the favor? I said, Mr. Stevenson, I need you to hire a ballistic expert. And he looked at me and he said, well, I was going to do that anyway. And I said, no, Mr. Stevenson. I said, I'm not explaining myself right. I said, Mr. Stevenson, I need you to hire a white man. And I need this white man to be the best of the best. I need this white man to believe in the death penalty. But I need this white man to be from the South. Mr. Stevenson said, why do he have to be from the South? I said, Mr. Stevenson, in the state of Alabama, they will only recognize one of their own. You can go out and get the best white female in the country. Her word is no good on the witness stand here in Alabama. And I said, Mr. Stevenson, no matter how great a person of color is, they definitely cannot testify on the witness stand in the state of Alabama, for their word is no good at all. 3 months later, Mr. Stevenson informed me that he had found this particular ballistic expert. But he didn't just find one, he found 3 of them. 2 of them lived in Texas and 1 of them lived in South Carolina. But he informed me that these 3 ballistic experts was the best in the country. But he said, Ray, I want to tell you that these 3 men have never testified for the defense. They testified for the prosecution. They send men to death row they never testified to get one off. Are you sure that these are the men that you want? I said, Mr. Stevenson, did you remember to ask them, would they just tell the truth? He said, everyone have assured me that they would tell the truth. If the evidence is in your favor, they would say it. And if it's not, they would say it. I said, Mr. Stevenson, if you can afford it, bring these 3 men to Alabama. They came to Alabama one at a time, and when the last one had done his testing, he told Mr. Stevenson the bullets do not even come close to being a match. After 28 years of sitting in solitary confinement, finally someone said what I've been saying all along. We take our case to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General in Alabama said it would be a waste of the taxpayer money. It would be a waste of his time. As far as he's concerned, the only thing about this case, we haven't executed the man that's been convicted. And for not doing his job, George W. Bush appointed him to a federal lifetime appointment. I goes before 2 more Attorney General, and they too refused to take 1 hour to re-examine the bullets. I take my case to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court did something that it have never done in the history of the court. All 9 justices ruled that I was entitled to a new trial. I goes back to the trial judge in Alabama. The prosecution stand up and say, Your Honor, we can't find the gun to this case. She said, what you mean you can't find the gun? He said, Mr. Stevenson never did turn it in. But Mr. Stevenson handed the judge a piece of paper. She looked at the paper, she read it, she handed it to the prosecutor and said, yes, he turned it in. It have your signature on it. She gave him 60 days to find the gun. We go back to her courtroom. The prosecution tell her they found the gun, but they can't find the bullets. I have to sit in jail another 60 days thinking that they was looking for the bullets. We found out that they had already found the bullets. And one of the experts that testified that the bullet was a match is now saying the bullets do not match the way they did 30 years ago. But the bullets never did match. You see, I told you 5 things that detective said was going to find me guilty. Did any of you catch that the detective never did say anything about evidence? You see, the only evidence they need is the fact that you was born black and poor. And that's why when the sheriff got up and said, you need to vote, you see, I was one of those that didn't vote, and I allowed them bastards to get in there and do me the way they did. But I assure you, since being home, I don't care if you're running to be a dog collector. I'm going to read up on you, and I'm going to vote for who I think will catch all dogs, not just some dogs. You see, as you sit here this evening, I come here to Cedar Grove to tell you, being black is hell. But I must be truthful with you. Y'all give them reason to continue to be hell. You see, I didn't do anything that I deserved to go to death row. Minding my own business, being a good citizen, and even sometimes that wasn't good enough. But to be a black male in this country, you must always be aware of your surrounding, who you put yourself around, because it don't take one bad cop. And I'm telling you, prison is not like TV. Prison is hell. I come here today to tell you that on April the 3rd, 2015, I was finally released. But I would never use the word that I'm free. Free men do not look at their doors to see if they're going to be kicked in. Free men don't drive and wonder if that's the police behind me. You see, I want you to know that in the state of Alabama, African Americans make up a whopping 27%. But in the penitentiary, African American make up a whopping 87%. Somebody is going out and bringing black men in and black women in because we only make 27%. You do the math. I'm trying to figure out how is it that we, in general population, only make up 27%, but in prison, 87%. And then there's those would have you to believe that we are dealing with mass incarceration. Well, I come to Cedar Grove to tell you we're not dealing with mass incarceration. We're dealing with a new form of slavery. Yeah. You see, in Alabama and other states, in the United States, we have over 20 million men and women in prison. We have a whopping 800,000 men and women on parole or either probation. And whether you believe or not, the prison is like that little commercial that the hotel would say, we will leave the light on. We got a room for you. I don't care what time of night, what time of day, the penitentiary got a room for you. And if that's where you want to go, then go. But I'll ask you today to be men of strength. Stand up for what you believe in. Help your community be a better community. You see, I came home April the 3rd, and I told the sheriff last night I couldn't even get a bottle of water on credit. Yes, I was knocked down, but I got up. Yes, it took some time for me to build my credit up. Yes, I'm proud to stand here, look you in the eyes and tell you, to this day, my credit score is 832. Yeah. I'm here today to tell you that don't let nobody tell you you can't make it. I want you to know that when I came home, I didn't have a place to stay other than at my best friend's house and his wife. And when I say motivated me, they motivated me to get out of there as quick as I could. Because all they do is say, yes, babe, and okay, babe. And that babe was running me crazy. Babe, what you want to eat, babe? Oh, it don't matter, babe, whatever you want to fix, babe. And I began to take what little money I had, begin to fix my mom's old house up, put it in living condition. And here I am 10 years later, MasterCard with no limits. Bought a brand new home in one of the nicest neighborhood in the state of Alabama. Over $500,000. I went crazy. I even got a swimming pool and I can't swim. But I'm hearing that somebody else can come and enjoy. I tell you that not to brag. I tell you that because sometimes I know you feel that you can't make it. You looking at a man that was down for 30 years. You looking at a man that had nothing. But I was determined to take what had happened to me to make something out of myself. I came home and got a job with the Equal Justice Initiative. I am the community educator. I came home and I sat down in a room and I wrote the second best book that ever been written in this life. The Bible being number 1. And the sun does shine is number 2. I promise you, that book is sold in 9 other countries. That book right here was endorsed by Oprah Winfrey. When she read it, she said she couldn't put it down. She flew me and my best friend to New York. And at the time, this book was sitting at number 13,000. When we did the interview on CBS this morning, she put this book out there and that book became number 1. And for the last 7 years, that book still is selling as though I just wrote it yesterday. You see, every one of you have a book inside of you. Every one of you have a story. But you have to do things in the right manner. You can't get with your little friends and think you can terrorize people. You got to do the right thing. You see, everything I have, I didn't sell any drugs to get it. I didn't rob anybody. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't steal anything. I did it the right way. Little bit by little bit. Every time I made $1, I put 50 cents back. This is what I come to tell you. I believe all of these dignitaries really care about you. But you're looking at a man who is betting on you to change what we got wrong. I believe in you young people. I believe you hold the key to making a justice system that don't exist to be a real justice system. I come here in the Cedar to ask you a question. Every man and every woman in this auditorium believe in justice. You live in a country that believes in justice. You live in a country that will go to another country to seek justice. And then all of us at some point in time, we have said, I pledge allegiance. And in saying the pledge of allegiance, at the very end, we say, justice for all. I need somebody to stand up and tell me, where's my justice? Where do I go and get justice? For 30 years, no one have had the decency to say I'm sorry. The state of Alabama haven't given me one penny. I got word when I was filing for compensation. I got word, tell the nigger to be glad we didn't kill him. Let that be his compensation. And so when I see a black sheriff, I believe she'll sheriff for a reason. We got to start trusting our own. We got to start putting our own in office when we can. We got to help one another like we never helped one another before. Because what was done to me, I didn't come today to receive a gift. I didn't come today to receive a dime. I came because I care about you. I came today because I love you. I came today because I don't want to see any one of you go through the hell that I went through. You see, I lost my mother while I was going through that hell. And at one point, when I got word that my mother had passed, I told my attorney, drop all of my appeals. I didn't give a damn about that case. My mother wasn't here no more, and I didn't want to be here. But I could hear my mother telling me that she brought me up to fight. Anytime there's a fight, she wanted me to stand up like a man. I could hear my mother telling me, I just didn't bring you up to be a quitter, because quitters never win. And today, being here, I am the winner. Those 7 white men that got together, 4 of them is dead and in hell. The other 3 is old timer. They don't even know Monday from Monday. But look at me now. I'm standing tall. By God's grace, by God's mercy, I am standing tall. Thank you so much.
Yes. We're about to get y'all out of here, but we have a presentation to give to Mr. Hinton, Hoyt, and any members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Come join me on the stage. National Council of Negro Women, DeKalb section. Please join me on the stage. Lorraine, if you have to go, fine, but if you can join us for this picture moment, we're going to present Mr. Hinton with the check. Yeah. I'm bringing it forward.
Not today.
We're going to get that lot of different. You gave this word of inspiration, not only that. Never give it up. Never quit. You heard us again. Say, where is his justice? He stayed on that over 30 years. You have to be a strong man never to give up. Mr. Henderson here today, and I hope you heard his words. If you give the opportunity to go out and get his book, YouTube him, Google him. His message is powerful. As he said, he was on Alabama's death row for 30 years. The bullets didn't match, not guilty, and the state of Alabama can't even give him $1. But on behalf of our community, Cedar community, all of our future speakers, we're honored to present Mr. Hinton a small token of our appreciation, a check from all of us on stage and all of our corporate sponsors and people that contributed and couldn't be here, to check the $5,000. All right. Well, the kids are going to close out. Let me thank you for all the research and you think they want to take all the time, the efforts, the talent. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand the amount of talent, wealth, and knowledge in the state. Please take Black American on the stage. Definitely the cat on the stage. Give them a hand. You have a story to tell. One thing I have, you all have a story to tell. It's something to live that life, live it right, and bring that forward. On behalf of Cedar High School, sir, thank you for coming and giving your talent and your story. On behalf of Dr. Douglas, who is the person, in his absence, he'd like to thank you for coming out and blessing the students with my talent. Again, that's Councilman Williams from Community South Five, Commissioner Justice, Company Justice, the Ray Justice, Justice. Dr. B is covered, all dignitaries, I'm sorry, President, that's Councilman Chair. Thank you all for coming, and we'll start with this is right here going back. Thank you all for coming.